What's up, guys? It's been a long time, I know, and I want to apologize because I should have made this video about a week ago. Look, got my bag. Let's head out to this other place and we'll have a chat. And yeah, there's so much to talk about, guys. But look, I got my EUC, my bag, and look, this is interesting. I rode, like, I don't live close to the beach, right? This is how far I rode to get here. 31.8 kilometers. So that's like 20 miles. And look, it hasn't dropped a single bar. Still full bars. Can you see that? It's crazy, huh? Look at that. We'll see the voltage. And guys, I'm not gonna edit this video. So yeah, just to let you know, like, I gotta get back in the rhythm of editing. So look, we dropped from 100 volts to like, yeah, 97.2. Still 4 bars, so that's nuts. When I look at that, it blows my mind. Because it's a long trip, you know, like, let's zoom in on this. And I'm filming with my phone, guys. I didn't even bring I didn't even bring a tripod or anything. I've just got my phone, I'm just holding it, so yeah, next time I'll make sure I'll bring more stuff. But yeah, let's go to the other place. Well, I'll do a quick edit here, kind of thing. So just crossing this bridge here. We made it, guys. Look at this, and it's still on 4 bars. So some of you guys will know this spot. Look, and the beach is just like over that hill, like literally 100 meters. And let's see so 96.7. Let's see the kilometers. Oh wait, what have I done? Oh yeah, the total as well, that's interesting. But hold on, let me just see yeah, 36. So I've gone like 23 miles, guys. And it still hasn't dropped a single bar. So it's like I'm on full battery still. Obviously it's not full, but that's impressive, isn't it? I don't know, like, it feels like my Sherman has gotten better since, because I didn't ride for 3 whole months, guys. That's how sick I've been. I've been so sick, for anyone that didn't know, that I couldn't even use my walking aid. Because that's a walking aid, right? Lots of times, well, not lots of times, but sometimes when I've had like a bad foot injury and I've been limping, I can still use my walking aid. It can take me miles and miles. And I don't get a sore foot. But recently I've been so sick that I couldn't even ride this, guys. I've been bedridden for 3 whole months. And I'll tell you more about it soon. Like in this video, I'll tell you more about it. But yeah, I'm so happy, guys. I cannot even express how happy I am that I can ride again. Or that I'm getting better. Like, I'm better. It's a miracle. I'm recovered. I'm over this lifelong injury that they told me. And I'll tell you how I did it. It was not easy, I'll tell you what. But yeah, stick around. I'll tell you all about it. And I'm just trying to figure out... Oh yeah, I was going to... So yeah, look, guys, this is the Sherman Max, by the way. I've got a Sherman Original and I've got a Sherman Max. And this is the Max. And I've done that many, nearly 8,000 kilometers. That's like 5,000 miles. And I haven't even changed the tire yet. It probably is due for a change pretty soon. Probably at around 10,000 Ks I'll change it. We'll see, let's see how it goes. But that's sick, huh? 8,000 Ks, not even a single bit of maintenance. I haven't even had to change the tire. That's just wicked. Because, guys, when I used to ride a scooter, I had to change the tires every 800 Ks. 800? And there's 2 tires. So think about that. And it's harder. Because they are small tires. Like, the smaller the tire, the harder it is to actually change for some reason. And imagine that. Every 800 Ks, I would have to change 2 tires and each one was harder than changing a Sherman tire. So it was like a part-time job, basically. Every week, I would have to put in like half a day's work just to keep my tire maintenance up to date. So I got rid of that thing. It actually broke my arm, but anyway, let's sit down and talk, guys. We've got a lot to talk about. Oh, and another thing, I found my favorite knee pads now. You know how I've been using Liat kind of knee pads, you know, the shin knee pads, like expensive ones. And they're all right and stuff, but they slide down so often. Like every time I go into a supermarket and I want to like trolley around with a Sherman, right? I'm like walking around and they just slide down my leg, you know, I got to stop and like adjust them. And you can't avoid it. It's like every 50 steps you take, then you got to like adjust your Liats. But now I bought these, right? They were $30, like the cheapest shit you can buy, basically. It's in like literally from the kids section in Target. And they're decent though. They're not like kids ones. As you can see, they're decent size. Like that's perfect size, I reckon. I don't want them too big. And they do not slide down. I've been walking around all over the place. They have not slid down once. Like I'm loving these knee pads. So I've got new knee pads, guys. And not only that, they're so easy to put on. It takes like 1 second each. Like they just slide right on. And it doesn't matter which one goes on which side. So you don't even have to waste time doing that. So yeah, I want to do another video again showing my gear up. Like how long, because remember last time it took me 35 seconds to gear up. And I was telling people like, you know, who doesn't gear up? People are like, oh, I don't want to dress up like a freaking astronaut just to go for a ride. You know, like it's so hard to gear up. It takes 35 seconds. And now it's going to be even quicker with these. So, and I mean everything, elbow, wrist, helmet, knees. That's basically it. But anyway, let's start this. Beautiful, isn't it? I really appreciate this again, guys. And when I first got back on it, I didn't appreciate it much. It's funny, like I was like, dude, this just feels kind of weird, you know? But as I got into it more, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I mean, it's just a wheel, but it's a wheel that just, you forget it's even there, but it can go 200 kilometers, you know, on a charge. It's insane. I'll talk a bit later as well how much I can save. Because when I was sick, I've been driving my van heaps. Not heaps. That's how sick I've been. I couldn't even drive a freaking car. But here and there, I've been able to drive, you know, and it just costs so much in petrol not being able to use the EUC. But anyway, let's talk about my sickness, guys. So, a lot to talk about. I was sick, like I said, for 3 months. Most of you probably already know this, but I'm so sorry. In my last video, I looked back at it again. I was like, shit, I look horrible in that video. And I didn't make another video until now, so I'm sorry. I also didn't reply to heaps of comments, like, because when I got sick, I just turned off notifications. I couldn't even look at a screen, guys. So how am I going to respond to comments? And I didn't know when I was going to get better. Like, it was 3 months, you know? And yeah, I didn't know what was going on, but let me tell you how I got better. So it was food related, right? It was definitely food related. The doctors said I had Crohn's disease, which is a lifelong debilitating chronic disease, and actually cause chronic fatigue. If you don't know what that is, it's basically when you got no energy. Imagine being so tired that just lifting your arm like this is like exhausting, and you're like, like that's how I was, guys. If you look back at a couple of videos, you'll see what I mean. And it was scary because it wasn't going away, like month after day after day after day after week after week. And I was like, dude, is this it now? Like, that's just the way I'm going to be. And I kept eating different food because I knew it was food related. And I'll explain after why, because I know 100% it was food related. Let me explain it quickly. Basically, I've been eating healthy for a very long time. I've been vegan for like 12 years. And just like 2 years ago, I started eating junk food here and there, and it slowly got worse. Like I was eating it more and more frequently, and it started to cause these pains in my gut, but only for like a day. you know, like a hangover. And then one day it just stayed. It was like, bang, you're sick. And I was sick for a week. And I was like, dude, I'm off the junk food, back to my like perfect diet. And I got better in 7 days. Within 7 days, I felt fantastic again. Then I fell off the diet again, like 2 months later, and started eating junk again. And bang, I got sick again. And that's what happened just recently. And it was 3 months this time, not 7 days. So that's just quickly what happened and why I know it was food. Food was definitely what did it. I mean, it's all gut related, isn't it? Crohn's is it's an inflammatory bowel disease, right? IBD. It's a type of IBD. And the type I had was jejunoitis or something like that. It was like in the small intestine, just below the stomach, where the small intestine starts, just in the upper portion of that is where most of the inflammation was. And I could feel it too, like I could feel it was there. And the thing is, I got sick for 3 months this time. So I was like, dude, how do I fix this? Because last time it was 7 days and I fixed it just by eating healthy again. This time, it wasn't so easy mostly because I couldn't even eat. I was that sick. Anything I put in my mouth was I was just throwing it up or not even being able to swallow it. Like for a moment, no, not for like 4 days, guys, I couldn't drink water. I couldn't even swallow. I was that, like I literally thought, this is it. I'm going to die soon. 4 days without water. Can you imagine? And vomiting profusely. Like every single day, just constantly vomiting. And the level of pain, I cannot even begin to describe, guys. I'm not going to put it up now. Later, I'm going to show you some clips because I recorded myself during some of the worst of my times. And it's horrible. Like, I can't even watch it. It kind of gives me, what do you call it? Like trauma. What do you call that? You know, delayed trauma. I forget. You know, everyone knows what that thing is. You know, like veterans get it after the war. I feel like I've got that kind of when I watch the video and when I go back to the place where I was like experiencing the pain. Oh man, because I moved. I'll show you later. I've actually moved where I used to sleep. I've actually moved from there into my greenhouse. And when I go back to my old bedroom, it's like, it gives me trauma. It's crazy. I'm like, dude, I cannot believe I went through that. It was 10 out of 10 pain, guys, for 3. Like, imagine being in so much pain that you can't help but scream at the top of your lungs. And it's so bad that you know you've got neighbors. So you know you can't just be screaming at the top of your lungs. So what do? You get a pillow and you shove it into your mouth and scream into that because you can't help it. If you try and fight this scream, you go into more pain because it's like a bodily reaction or something. It's not like I want to scream. It's just happening. That's how much pain I'm in. If I just don't do anything, I just automatically go into a scream. You know, like, ah! And I had to muffle my mouth. Like every day I was screaming into a pillow. And it was just getting worse and worse, guys. And I went through all different types of food. Like I went back to animal products as well. And it didn't help. It wasn't it. It wasn't a deficiency was not what caused this. Crohn's is not caused by deficiency. It's caused by toxicity. And what that means is basically damage. So eating junk food damaged me to the point where my body just like said, nah, that's enough, you know? And I don't know exactly how it works, but I'm pretty sure it goes into like a state of repair where it just starts rejecting all kinds of foods, like all kinds of stuff I could eat before. You know, I was eating junk food and stuff, whatever. Bread is like the junkiest of food there is. And it just rejects it. Like I would eat even a piece of bread this big and I would be in like extreme pain afterwards. And I couldn't eat anything, not even fruit and veg. And then I said, I got to just, you know, try all these different things. And for weeks and weeks, I was trying all these different foods, guys. Nothing was working until I fasted. So what really helped was when I just said, nah, stop eating altogether. stop trying all these different foods, you know? Nothing is helping. I tried all these eggs and shit, you know? It was like stuff I would never eat in the past because I'm vegan, you know? And I know eggs are packed with nutrition, so I thought, you know, maybe if it's a deficiency, this could really help. It didn't help at all. And what helped was when I stopped eating altogether. And that's kind of crazy because at this point I had already not eaten for like basically a month. It's not like I didn't eat. Everything I tried to eat, I would vomit immediately. So I was basically not eating. I was basically starved. And then I got to a point where I said, look, my only option now is to not eat. How weird. But it was a good thing because what it did, the good thing about it was I stopped trying to force it in. Because all that was happening was I was vomiting afterwards. So there was no point. I was just like I wasn't doing anything. I was probably doing some kind of harm. I reckon, yeah, vomiting does harm, doesn't it? Because you got all these acid and shit coming up through your esophagus. It's not meant to be like that. So when I stopped eating, I stopped vomiting. I didn't eat for 3 days straight. I didn't even try to eat. I just drank water. And I got so much better, guys. I was like, dude, that was the answer. But then I started eating. And then I started eating like gluten-free bread, thinking, you know, well, at least it's gluten-free. And I was kind of cheating myself. Like, I know, look, don't eat bread, man. That's like, it's junk. But I started eating, you know, these wraps and stuff like that. And I wasn't really healing. I kind of felt like, you know, I was super sick. I got a bit better after a 3-day fast. And then I went into like mediocre eating where I wasn't getting any better and I wasn't getting any worse. So I still had kind of pain and I was laying around with no energy, still had chronic fatigue, right? So I wasn't better at all. I had chronic fatigue, but I had no pain, right? So I felt good. I was like, yeah, I feel good, but all I can do is just lay here. As soon as I try and get up, I'm like puffed out, like I'm bedridden. Right? And that lasted like another 2 months. And then I went into like maybe slightly worse eating, went into a bit more pain. And then I said, F this, I'm just going to eat good again. I didn't fast again, but the way I'm eating now, guys, is just fruit and veg. But I haven't eaten veg. Like, fruit is the only way I can do it. Like anything else I try to eat and I feel like shit the next day. So I'm going to do it for like a month, let's say, and just get really healthy, feel great, and then see what I can eat. Because literally, guys, I can't eat anything but fruit. Anything I try to eat, and it fucks up my whole day. It's like a massive hangover. The next day, I'm just recovering all day. I'm in pain. I feel terrible and regretful. I'm like, why did I do this? Why did I do this? I feel like absolute crap. This hurts, you know, it's like, you idiot, why did you do this? So it's like, yeah, it's that bad, guys. I mean, you know, it's kind of a good thing because I've always known this is the best way to eat. Not necessarily just fruit, but just fresh produce. Just stuff that you can find in nature, basically. Nothing that goes through a factory. I've always known that's the best way to eat, so this has kind of forced me back into that because I did eat that way for a long time and I loved it. It's the best I've ever felt. The most energy I've ever had in my life is when I had stuck to that diet month after month after. I mean, I would fall off it here and there. You know, I'd have like a vegan pizza once a month maybe. And I would regret it. I'd be like, oh, that's junk. And it's the best I've ever felt. But then I fell off the diet, like I said. And it had been a long time since I've been able to stick to that stringent kind of diet. But now I've been forced back into it. Like I've got no choice. If I veer off this diet at all, I pay for it in pain, like big time. Not as bad as my pain like 2 months ago when I was really sick, but it hurts a lot still, guys. It's like 7 out of 10 pain, let's say. It hurts more than a broken arm. Let me just say that. Because, I've had a few broken bones. So I know what that feels like. If I eat junk food, I have more pain than a broken fucking arm. So it's not worth it. And so that's 7 out of 10. So I would say a broken arm is like 6 out of 10. When I was really sick, I was in 10 out of 10 pain, guys. I can't even, like, that's the only way I can describe it, is 10 out of 10. 12 out of freaking 11. It's just through the scales, you know, like off the scales. Stratospheric levels of just intense suffering. It's a kind of pain that it's so, guttural. I don't know if that's the right word. It is in the gut, but it's kind of like, it's so core, because, you know, your guts are at the core of your body. It's like the core of your being. So it's one of the worst places to feel pain. Like, I've heard that out of anywhere you can get shot or stabbed, the gut is like the worst, apart from the kneecap. They say the kneecap's number 1 and the gut is number 2 for being shot. I don't know about being stabbed. Probably the same, but it's horrible. Gut pain is just, it sucks so bad, guys. I wanted to die. Like, I was happy to die. You know, when I was in extreme pain, I said, look, if I die, that's a good thing. This is a good thing. If I were to die now, I would be like, that's a bonus. At this point, like, I wouldn't even be sad if someone said, look, you can die now if you want. I would say, yes, end this fucking pain. It's just too much. It was driving me insane, guys. Literally, like, I was screaming like I said, I was screaming to a pillow every day, like, for hours at the top of my lungs in pain. And then when I'm not screaming, I could hear the screams in my head, because it had been, you know when that happens, when you're doing the same thing over and over and it's like stays in your head for a bit? I was even hearing in my freaking dreams, guys. I was dreaming about screaming in pain. Can you imagine that? So when I'm not literally screaming in pain, I'm fucking dreaming about it. And it feels like it feels no different. It's like, I don't even know the difference. I was in hell. In absolute hell. And speaking of hell, let's talk a little bit about religion, guys. Because I've had, like, lots of people. One thing I don't like, guys, is, you know, I respect all religions, but if someone says, look, you've got to follow my religion, or else you're not going to get better, or you're going to go to hell, literally. Some people say that. If you don't follow my guy for my religion, then you're going to burn in hell forever. What the fuck is that? That's like a threat. That's what terrorists do. They threaten you to join their religion, right? Basically the same thing. If you say, oh, if you don't follow my guy, Jesus or whatever, then you're going to burn forever in hell. What kind of a God would even think like that? Imagine burning forever. So even in 1 billion years, you've been suffering for 1 billion years and you're still going. They say, no, you got to keep going because you followed the wrong religion. That's just insanity. It's like the deepest threat you could possibly deliver. And it's disrespectful to all other religions because it's like saying, well, you're all wrong. You got to follow my religion. So I respect all religions. I do believe in God. I believe in a higher power. And yeah, I would curse out God, guys, to be honest though. I was like, why are you fucking doing this to me? When I was in pain, like, you know, day after day, I was like, God, why the fuck would you do this to me? What's wrong with you? Are you a sadist? Is that what you are, a sadist? Why would you do this? You know? But then now when I look back at it, it's like, I feel like it was as bad as it was kind of worth it because it's pushed me back into good eating. I feel more motivated now than I was. I feel way better now than I did before all this started. So it was beneficial. And it's all to do with food because it's forced me back into perfect eating, basically. A very hard thing to do. Like, you just try it. Try to quit bread. Everyone eats bread. Just try to quit bread and see how hard that is. Because it's an addictive, it's junk, right? And it's very hard to quit. And this has granted me that. It's gifted me the gift of eliminating bread and all the shit. In my opinion, meat, there's all kinds of meat, is all junk as well. Especially considering it comes from a corpse. You don't even know the harvest date, which is the date of death of the animal. It's disgusting. It could have been months ago. In most cases, it was at least a month ago, like at the best of butchers. In McDonald's and stuff like that, it could be up to a year or more, guys. So imagine eating an animal that died a year ago. We're not vultures, right? We're not scavengers. We're not made to eat corpses like that. That's a deep corpse, right? And you might say, oh, but it's been frozen for a year. Would you go out to the Antarctica where it's, it's as cold as a freezer? And if you found a corpse in the ice, would you eat it? And say, yeah, it's all good. It's been frozen for a year. Hell no. That's disgusting. A scavenger wouldn't even do that. And that's what we do. That's how we've been eating. That's how I grew up eating. So yeah, to me, that's just trash. If you're going to be a carnivore, you've got to be a real carnivore. You've got to eat a fresh animal. You've got to hunt it yourself and eat it right there and then. Even if you wait 12 hours. There's been so much oxidation in all that meat. All the fats and proteins have all been degraded tremendously. That's why a real carnivore, if they can avoid an old corpse, even 24 hours old, they won't even touch it. Only out of desperation. 24 hours. And we're eating things at least a month old at the best, in the best of cases. And it takes 24 hours to go from the slaughterhouse to the freezer. It's going to take a little while. So there's a bit of decomposition going on there. To me, that's all disgusting. But so bread, meat, milk as well, cheese, and basically anything with grains in it. So and soy, like soy product, anything you find in a packet is made up of like basically soy, corn, and like wheat, basically those kinds of grains. And processed though, like soy oil, corn oil, fructose, high fructose, corn syrup, all this kind of junk. It's everywhere. Like, it's what we've been raised to eat, and it's what made me sick, and it's what's making everyone sick. Think about how many people die of heart disease. It's 1 in fucking 3. It's crazy. 1 in 3? And then that's just one disease. Then you got all types of cancers. How many types of cancers are there? Let's just take one. Let's take lung cancer. How many people get that? It's like 1 in, 15? 1 in 15. That's just one cancer. And then you got another 100. Then you got diabetes. 1 in 5 people get diabetes. Or it's just insane. And then you've got, you've got all kinds of diseases, right? Then, diseases that people get when they're older, like Alzheimer's and all that stuff. But when you add it all up, it's like everyone gets something bad. But when you look at the animal kingdom, look into the wild, right, where animals live in harmony with nature, these diseases don't even exist. Like heart disease, if you try to find heart disease in a species similar to us, let's say like a chimpanzee, it's almost impossible to find. It's like they don't get it. It's like 1 in a million. And the only way they can get it is by feeding them the kind of shit that we eat, right? So that's just saying something, guys. It's not just those diseases, it's mental diseases too. Like, let's take schizophrenia, for example. That plagues us as a species, right? It doesn't even exist in the animal kingdom. It doesn't exist. Not one case out of billions. Not even 1 in a billion. 1 in 100 billion. Isn't that crazy? Suicide doesn't exist. They don't kill themselves like we do. We're fucked in the head, guys. Like on average, as a species, we're fucked in the head. Like to kill yourself, It's not, I'm not saying it's your fault. Like, it's like, oh, someone that killed themselves is a bad person. It's a society that's fucked. It's what's fucking everything up, right? And it's a lot to do with what it's feeding us. Because what you eat affects how you think tremendously. I don't know if you know this, but the biggest collection of neurons, like basically wires inside your body that carry signals, because we're like an electrical being, you know. All our nerves carry electrical signals. The biggest collection of neurons in the entire body goes between the stomach and the brain. So think about how much connection there is with your food and your thoughts and your emotions, your state of mind, your very being, your conscience. It's what you are is what you eat. It's what you think. It's how you act, right? If you eat healthy, you feel great and you got tons of energy. If you eat shit, you start getting depressed. That's why people kill themselves, because they're not happy, obviously. But yeah, let's not ramble on too much, guys. 31 minutes, so it's not too bad, not too bad. And yeah, not like I said, no edits in this one. Just those, I just paused it on my phone, so there'll be like cut, what do you call this? Cut scene, I don't know. And guys, I've got in this bag, I've got a tent. Look, this is pretty cool. See this thing? You've probably seen these, but it fits in my bag, right? Like it fits in there with all my gear and stuff. Like it fits in there, and then it just pops out. You unzip this thing and it just explodes into a tent in like 1 second. It's crazy. Literally, you just throw, like, you just go bang and it's just explodes and you've got a tent all set up. Putting it away is the hard part, but it's not that bad. You can do it in like 5 seconds once you know what you're doing. It just took me a while to figure it out at first. But yeah, this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to head to the beach and just pop my tent out and just chill for a bit. Like I said, the beach is just out there. Alright guys, it was good. Well, did I... Yeah, it was good seeing you guys, and we're going to have regular videos again soon. I don't know when the next one will be. I've been a bit busy, and I'm trying to get my life sorted again, because just like I said, a week ago is when I got better, basically. Like, I could have made this video a week ago saying I'm better, guys, I'm better, but I just got busy and started getting all my shit together, and then finally now I can put this video out, guys. And it was bad, like, oh look, a bird. I wasn't exaggerating. But I'm better. Guys, I am 100% now, basically. Not 100, like, I really got to watch what I eat. But yeah, that's it. Like, it's over. The lifelong debilitating disease has been cured, even though the doctors say there is no cure. Alright guys, let's end it.